Nix will take it himself on 1st and 10. Blocked by Bowles. Touchdown, Denver!
But I think Bo Nix, man, like, you just talk about winning, give him the ball in the fourth quarter. Like, I don't know what else you're going to be asking for a quarterback.
Absolutely insane that 14 NFL quarterbacks have shorter odds of winning the MVP this year than Bo Nix, who enters the preseason sitting at around plus 3,500 to take home the trophy. Some of them have better arms, some have bigger numbers. The most have accomplished a hell of a lot less than Nix. Because while Bo isn't coming off an MVP season, he is coming off 14 wins, the number 1 seed in the AFC, and 7 game-winning drives. Then Denver reached the AFC Championship game without him and scored 7 points. That should matter. Instead, the sportsbooks are pricing Nix like Denver's success happened somewhere around him, like he was holding the steering wheel while Sean Payton and an elite defense pushed the car uphill.
I don't think there's any question they missed. I think he should be in that, at the very least, in that honorable mention.
And to be fair, the skeptics had some ammunition. We'll get into Nix's numbers in a minute because they were solid but definitely not MVP numbers in 2026. Denver's defense was historic and the offense spent too many Sundays grinding through long drives just to reach the end zone. So this isn't an argument that Bo Nix was robbed in 2025. He wasn't. The question is whether everyone is making the same mistake they made when Denver drafted him. They're looking at what Nix has already done and assuming that's all he can do. Now he enters year 3 with Jaylen Waddle, Cortland Sutton, Evan Ingram, a strong offensive line, and a coach who trusts him to throw the ball more than any quarterback in football last season.
Bo, in a lot of senses, was the savior to this franchise, and I know the defense has been great, and Vance Joseph, and PS2, and Benito, and Zach Allen.
The resume screen is baller. The statistics say unfinished. Well, the odds say the NFL isn't buying him. So is Bo Nix a legitimate MVP contender, or is Denver's defense making him look better than he really is? Let's dig into it, and while we do, hit the like button and subscribe to SnapTown for more NFL stories with an edge.
All right, let's go. Don't wait to start. Don't wait to start. Come on.
Before we start screaming disrespect, we have to admit something. The skeptics have a case. Bo Nix threw for 3,931 yards and 25 touchdowns last season. Solid, winning numbers. They weren't MVP numbers. His passer rating was 87.8. His efficiency dipped from his rookie year, and Denver asked him to throw the ball 612 times. It's more than any quarterback in football. It's a lot of work for 25 touchdowns. Then there's the defense. Denver finished with 14 wins because Bo delivered in big moments, but he also spent the season playing alongside a unit that buried quarterbacks, strangled drives, and rarely forced the offense into a trap beat. Nix didn't have to throw 4 touchdowns every Sunday. Sometimes 20 points at a pulse were enough. And Sean Payton certainly helped. His offense is built around timing, quick decisions, defined reads, and getting the quarterback out of trouble before the trouble arrives. So when critics call Nix a system quarterback, the accusation isn't completely insane, it's just incomplete.
Not a great deep ball thrower, and it almost felt like they use him as a game manager. Nothing wrong with that. But can you get to a Super Bowl next year with Bo Nix, or does he need to change who he is as a quarterback?
The point is, every successful quarterback plays in a system. Josh Allen has one, Drake May has one. Patrick Mahomes has spent his entire career with Andy Reid designing ways to make defensive coordinators reconsider their career choice. The question isn't whether Nix benefits from Payton. Of course he does. The question is whether Payton is hiding it. And coaches don't usually hide quarterbacks by asking them to lead the league in pass attempts. The Broncos trusted Nix to control the offense, diagnose coverage, protect the football, and deliver when the game's tightened in the fourth quarter. Still, the Raiders are going to need more. Nix can't win MVP by simply repeating 2025 with a nicer highlight package. He needs more touchdowns, more explosive plays, more afternoons where Denver wins because his quarterback took over and not because the defense turned the opposing offense into roadkill. Bo Nix wasn't a runaway MVP last season. The mistake is assuming he's already shown us his ceiling. Bo Nix led 7 game-winning drives in 2026. 7. That's not game manager territory. That's a quarterback repeatedly walking into the fourth quarter with the margin for error squeezed down to nothing and finding a way out. Denver's defense kept games close. Nix finished them.
Nix wants it on the ground. Touchdown, Denver.
He won with his arm, he won with his legs, and he won ugly, which may be the most valuable skill the quarterback can have in January. Because when the play broke down, Nix usually didn't. He extended drives, escaped pressure, took the check down when it was there, and ran when the defense turned its back. None of that looks especially glamorous on a stat sheet. It looks a hell of a lot better when your team was 14-3. And then came Buffalo. In overtime of the divisional round, Nix fractured his ankle. He finished the game anyway and Denver won. The following week, he stood on the sideline while Jarrett Stidham started the AFC Championship game against New England. The Broncos lost 10-7. We're not going to pretend Nix automatically wins that game because football doesn't work that way, no matter how loudly you scream with the television. But Denver only needed one more touchdown, one more drive, one more late game answer. And the dude who had already delivered 7 of them was wearing a headset.
My next question. Do you believe a healthy Bo Nix, Broncos would have been in the Super Bowl?
Yes. No disrespect.
That loss revealed something his passing numbers couldn't. The Broncos didn't simply need Nix to operate Sean Payton's offense. They needed his nerve. They needed the guy who could take a broken play and shrinking pocket or a final possession and keep the whole machine from coming apart. That's leadership in the NFL. Not speeches or stupid helmet slaps, not yelling like a lunatic in slow motion for the cameras. It's being the cat everyone trusts when the game gets tight and the original plan goes to hell. Bo Nix proved he is that guy. Now he has to prove they can be that guy while putting up MVP numbers. You want to hear something pretty amazing? Bo Nix took only 22 sacks last season on 612 pass attempts. That's not Sean Payton waving a magic wand. That's a quarterback seeing pressure, making decisions, and refusing to let one bad play wreck the drive.
Oh my gosh, come on, give me the ball back.
Nix gets the ball out quickly because he understands where it needs to go. He checks protections, identifies leverage, and takes the easy completion instead of holding onto the ball for some heroic throw that ends with a defensive tackle sitting on his chest. Critics call that limited. Coaches call it staying on schedule. And when the schedule falls apart, Nix is as valuable as anyone in the league. He escapes the pocket, extends plays, runs for first downs, and forces defenders to account for him after the coverage turns downfield. That matters because the kid isn't built around one overwhelming physical gift. He wins with accumulation. One correct read, one avoided sack, one third down scramble, one late throw after the pocket collapses. Next thing you know, Denver's eaten 8 minutes off the clock and the defense is back on the field hunting quarterbacks with fresh legs. That's the part that people miss when they dismiss Nix as a passenger in Payton's system. The quarterback being hidden doesn't lead the league in pass attempts. Payton trusted Nix to handle the ball more than any other quarterback in football because the kid rarely turns a bad situation into a catastrophe. And yes, the system helps him. That's what good coaching is supposed to do. Mahomes has Andy Reid, May has an offense built around the strengths, and every contender gets help unless his franchise is run by people who enjoy drafting in the top 5. The question is whether Nix merely follows Payton's instructions or understands the offense well enough to command it. And after 2 seasons, Denver's answer is obvious. The system isn't carrying Bo Nix. Sean Payton keeps expanding it because Bo Nix can carry more of it.
He's a dog. I'll give it to him.
I don't know what it is, but like when he's down and he feels like the urgency picks up, it's like he turns into Superman.
In 2026, Bo Zuka doesn't need to become a different quarterback. Denver just needs his offense to stop making every touchdown feel like a hostage negotiation. Last season, too many scoring drives required 12 plays, 3 third down conversions, and Sean Payton looking 1 incompletion away from eating his headset. That can win games. It usually doesn't win MVPs. Enter Jaylen Waddle.
The Broncos have been the only team out there not to sign a single free agent. And today, they pull off a trade for Jaylen Waddle, a wide receiver.
Waddle gives Denver something it lacked in 2025, speed that changes the geometry of the field. Safeties have to back up, corners can't sit on underneath routes. One missed tackle can turn an 8-yard completion into 60. That matters for Nix because his greatest strength is getting the ball to the right player on time. Now one of those players can erase half the field before the defense finishes lacing up their cleats. Courtland Sutton is still going to be the trusted target when the coverage gets physical. Evan Ingram can work the linebackers and safeties underneath. The offensive line returns intact, and the backfield gives Payton even more ways to create mismatches before the snap. Nix already proved he can operate the machine. Now Denver is giving the machine a turbocharger. The MVP path still demands a real jump. Nix probably needs to clear 4,000 passing yards, push beyond 30 touchdowns, and produce more games where the offense, not the defense, owns the headlines. He'll also need another pile of wins. Quarterbacks rarely win MVP from the middle of the playoff picture. Denver has to stay near the top in the AFC, and Nix needs signature victories against the other quarterbacks sitting above them on the odds board. None of that's guaranteed. Water doesn't automatically turn Nix into Josh Allen with better altitude, but it gives Denver explosive potential without asking its quarterback to abandon everything he already does well. Faster points, easier yards, more touchdown opportunities, and fewer drives that require perfection to slam the door shut. That's how a good quarterback becomes an MVP contender, not by reinventing himself, but by finally getting an offense capable of making his best traits impossible to ignore.
It's going to be a very exciting offense just adding one piece to the puzzle can make such a big difference.
So let's circle back to those plus 3,500 odds. The sportsbooks see a quarterback that threw 25 touchdowns, played beside an elite defense, and still hasn't produced the kind of numbers that usually with MVP. That's fair. Bo Nix shouldn't be sitting beside Josh Allen or Drake May among the favorites, but he shouldn't be buried beneath 14 other quarterbacks either, because most long shot candidates are missing something important. Maybe they have the talent but not the roster. Maybe they have the weapons but not the coach. Maybe they can put up numbers but won't win enough games to stay in the conversation. Nix already has the coach, the offensive line, the defense, the late game resume, and a team capable of finishing near the top of the ASC. Now he has Jaylen Waddle. The only thing missing is the statistical jump. That makes plus 3,500 less of a prediction about what Bo Nix can become and more of a bet that 2025 was as good as he gets. Denver clearly doesn't believe that. Sean Payton doesn't believe that. And after 14 wins, 7 game-winning drives, and a playoff victory where Nix finished on a broken ankle, neither should anyone else.
Let's go, Bo Nix. Let's go, man. You say Bo Nix? Come on. That's some fun.
Bo Nix doesn't need to become Josh Allen. He needs to become a more explosive version of the quarterback here he is. More touchdowns, more big plays, more afternoons where Denver wins because number 10 took over the game. If that happens, those preseason odds are going to look ridiculous by Thanksgiving. So now we want to hear from you. Is Bo Nix a legitimate MVP contender, or is Denver's defense making his resume look better than it really is? Drop your answer in the comments, hit subscribe, and keep it locked in the snap count as we head into the 2026 NFL season. And we'll see you in the next one.